interesting little story. Back when I was a wee lad, I went to the cinema for one of my birthdays. I forget which birthday it was, but I went to the cinema and I was going to see Independence Day. And I got there and it was fully booked. I couldn't go and see it. No seats left. So they were like, well, we do have seats left for this other movie called Twister. So we went to see that instead. I loved it. Twister on the big screen is absolutely amazing. Like, absolutely loved it. So when I realized Twisters was coming out, we were getting like a big budget sequel. 1,000,000%. I'm going back to the cinema to relive my youth and watch this movie. But Twisters, yes, I'm going to talk about Twisters. My name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite rich home for all your news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. I like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. That's not what I'm dealing with today, though. I'm talking about big blockbuster, summer blockbuster movie Twisters. So we're going to get into that now. And again, I'll do what I normally do, and I'll talk about the plot of the movie. I'll try not to give any spoilers. It's not really a lot of spoilers you can give for this movie. It just kind of is what it is. And then I'll get into what I did and didn't like about the movie. I'll get into the cast and the crew of the movie, and then I'll give you my final Nerdly Out Loud rating. So the movie stars Daisy Edgar-Jones as Kate, who is she's out in the field with a group of friends. Like, they're all like in university or college or something, and they've become storm chasers. They essentially want to do what the guys in the original movie did. However, instead of tracking the Twisters, they kind of want to like fill it with like this nappy dust, I think it's called, and it's going to help the tornado like dissipate and disappear. And that's kind of what they're trying to do. However, of course, it's the start of the movie. Stuff and things need to happen, and we need to get that horrific moment of the dad getting sucked out of the bunker. It's not what happens here, but her friends, Kate's friends, all but one end up getting murdered by the tornado, and they get turned into a people-nado, and they get sucked up and thrown all over the place. That's not really a spoiler because it happens in the first couple of minutes, but my God, in the cinema, when this happens on the big screen and these Twisters come in, it is as big and as bad and as bold and as awesome and noisy as I remembered that first movie being. And that's one thing I will say up front about this movie. Yes, it follows kind of the same formula as the original, a little bit different in places, but it follows the same kind of formula. However, it just does everything that little bit better. So we cut forward, and Kate is now a little bit of a desk jockey. She kind of just works at one of these climate places where they're tracking them, but she doesn't really want to go out in the field anymore until her friend, the other friend that survived during the opening portion of the movie, played by Anthony Ramos, is Harvey. And Harvey comes in, and he's got an idea of how they're going to do this. Like, he's been formulating a plan over the years, and he now has this idea of what they're going to do and how they're going to get these things up into the tornado, and he really wants to do it because they lost all their friends there. So they go back to the old country, Oklahoma, to like start chasing all these tornadoes again, the same as the original movie. However, this time they're kind of like the other side of it. So remember in the first movie, you had Bill Paxton and his team, and then you had Carrie Elwes on the other team, all the assholes. Well, they're kind of the assholes now, and the Bill Paxton team this time is led by Glen Powell. Glen Powell, who's also in Top Gun Maverick, incidentally. Glen Powell, who is just a great leading man right now, and we'll talk about that in a second. So they're doing their thing, Glen Powell's doing his thing. They're kind of like these YouTuber influencers who chase tornadoes, record the whole thing, get as close to the damn thing as possible, set fireworks off in the tornado, which was a really cool idea. I love that. And of course, the two teams are going to butt head all the way through until they need each other, and of course that's going to happen. They'll team up, and that's how they're going to get things done. There's not really much else to dive into other than Kate and Glen Powell's character Tyler. They do team up, they become a team, and they work together. Everything kind of goes to hell at one point, because of course it does. They have like a super mega awesome massive huge tornado come into town. Although I will say they missed a trick. Because there is a point where the fire goes inside the tornado and it becomes an actual legitimate Firenado. Nobody in the movie calls it a Firenado. They should absolutely have called it that. I know there is a movie out there called Firenado. It's like got nothing budget, silly movie, great movie to be fair. But yeah, so I get that. But that was your perfect opportunity to be in a huge blockbuster movie and say, it's a Firenado. It does become a movie of survival, destruction, mass horror, everything that you love about the first movie and just outright love about disaster movies. Daisy Edgar-Jones is not an actress I'm massively familiar with. I have seen her, but she kind of just has a case of the Scarlett Johanssons, if you know what I mean. Like, she just has that kind of face that you know you've seen it, you probably just don't remember what you saw her in. Plays the role really well. I completely buy that she's got this sort of PTSD of the initial instance that kind of made things go wrong. But it's a good thing that we have Glen Powell playing against her, because Glen Powell, I will say for me, is probably one of my favorite leading men in Hollywood right now, in movies right now. He embodies the kind of the strong, stoic male character that I don't think we've had for a good long while. Old school actor that I think we need and is going to change things a little bit because we're just too pansified right now. But I feel like Glen Powell actually brings some nuance to his roles. He brings some character to his roles. He's a man. He's a proper man. Okay. I'm just starting to gush over him, so I'm going to stop that. Anthony Ramos, who you may know from like Lin-Manuel Miranda, things like Hamilton and In the Heights, he's in there. He is a bit of the comic relief, and I genuinely quite like the kid. He's really good in this movie. Turns into a bit of a shitbag at one point, but I got no problem with him. I think this guy is a great little actor. He isn't really getting as bigger parts as he maybe should. I do think they will come along though. We do get a little role from everyone's favourite ER actress, Maura Tierney. She does turn up and it's great to see her. I did think for a hot minute that she was going to be played by like Helen Hunt or the old lady from the original movie. Like, I kind of thought we might get... That's one thing. We don't really get many callbacks to the original movie other than the likes of... they have the Dorothy machines. They have them there. And you have like this little bit where Kate comes back into the fold and somebody says to her, it's good to have you back. And she's like, I'm not back. And of course, Bill Paxton did that a lot at the start of the movie, the original movie. So for the most part, though, my kudos has to go to the director, Lee Isaac Chung, because he has literally done the 22 Jump Street, where it's like, just do what you did last time, but bigger and better with more money. That's kind of what they're doing here. They're rehashing the original movie. They're following the same kind of formula, but that formula worked because it was a big budget disaster movie, and that kind of formula is always going to work in a big budget disaster movie. You go from A to B, the things happen, and that's what we do. The destruction is the thing that you're there for, really. And they do that to a magnificent degree. They have some really interesting new concepts that they play with in this movie about how they're going to get this thing into the tornado, like how they're going to get close to the tornado for the YouTube side of things. When the YouTube side of things first came on screen, I was sat there like, oh my God, are we really doing this? But they use it to fantastic degrees. They use it in a super original way that I just thought, actually, I'm down. I'm okay with that. So yeah, I'll give them that. That was brilliant. What I didn't like, what I really like is, again, they stuck with the formula. I think the VFX are absolutely outstanding in this movie. It looked amazing on the big screen in the cinema. I've not seen a movie look this good on the big screen in a long bloody time, and I watch quite a lot of movies at the cinema, but I've not seen anything up there that's really like got me like this. The last 20 minutes or the last 10-15 minutes of this movie, I felt like I couldn't breathe. It was that intense at times, and you know it's silly, you know what they're doing is completely unbelievable and completely unrealistic, but I just couldn't help but love it. And it took my breath away at times. I'm just going to get into my final Nerdly Out Loud rating. I think this is a 5 out of 5. I don't really have anything too negative to say about the movie other than the younger characters, like the younger leads, are a little bit bland, a little bit beige, but they're there to serve the purpose of the movie. And I do think that Daisy Edgar-Jones is good. I just didn't think she was like outstandingly good. Glen Powell is fantastic. Like, so there is that. So that would be the only real negative. But for me, this is a movie that has to be seen at the cinema. It's a movie that you need to actually be immersed in and really let wash over you. If you watch this on a small screen at home, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself dirty. Like, this movie has got to be seen on the biggest possible screen with the most amazing sound system. But I've been longing for movies like Maverick, movies like Twisters. Christ, Apple TV just released Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. That is a movie that just needs to be seen. Actors actually acting, like none of this 99% CGI, although Twisters does have a bit of CGI, but we're playing in an actual sandbox rather than just doing superheroes again. And they're going to keep doing superheroes, and that's fine. I'll watch them, but it's nice to get a movie like this every once in a while. So yeah, 5 out of 5. This for me is probably going to be the movie of the summer. It could potentially end up being my movie of 2024. I loved Twisters. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, my name's been Kevin Howell, and this is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for news, reviews, and exclusive interviews. Don't forget to hit that like, smash that subscribe, and ding that notification bell. It will let you know whenever I drop a review or anything else that we put out on the channel. Again, Twisters is 5 out of 5. It's a movie you're going to absolutely vibe on. You're going to love it. Go and see it in the cinema. I loved Twisters, and I can't wait to watch it again.